competition between a few nations getting very tense. Between the democracies and non-democracies. Yeah. And while, as you can see, there's the totalitarians in the middle, and, well, we also got totalitarian European Federation, even though it's mostly not in Europe. We got the totalitarian Russian Empire, which probably will change soon. And while that nation thrives for a war, they realize that fighting the totalitarians are only making the totalitarians weak compared to the democracies, compared to the owners of the world, as they say, compared to the threat to the world. They call it democracy. Their big threat is democracy. Their big threat is freedom. Their big threat is equality. Whatever this nation stands for, they despise. They believe that that system is totally corrupted by greed and search for power, despite the fact that, well, nobody has rights. They believe that this nation is pure evil in all their propaganda. So they declare war on the evil, great threat nation of the Democratic League, which this is the Democratic Union. Then we got Australia, New Zealand, Islandia, because I like the word "ia" at the end of like random countries. And then we have Papua New Guinea. But you may think, oh, this doesn't look that great. Well, it probably doesn't. With the European, they should probably change their name to another nation, but then it would sound like it's another nation. With everybody being told about this massive victory, and that the democracies are soon going to surrender and give up and bow to us. But what happens is not that. So they decide to go 1984 style and erase that they ever said that. Yeah, that's okay. And then they get invaded in Australia, and they go through the outback. An emu gets angry because emus, for some reason, decide they don't like totalitarianism, I guess, and gets very angry and just wipes the forces out. But that was just a minor inconvenience, definitely not just a joke. And, well, anything. And they also have said that the reason the AIs took over the world was because of the democracies. And that's why we had to reconquer the world. Well, they start landing in all these islands. And they're like, can we buy Greenland? Oh, wait, what? They offer to buy Greenland, and the Democratic Union's like, no, why would we give you this? And they said, well, I wasn't asking. Now that's a turn. As they start landing all over Greenland. There was a 4-sided war, then a 3-sided war, and now this is a 2-sided war. I guess the European Federation isn't liking the look of this, and look, they're in the Arctic. As they just say, yeah, I don't like the cold, so they decide, let's continue taking out Australia. With basically no help arriving, the speed of which they're invading is less than they wanted, so they just need to fix this. Well, they just like invading everyone. Everyone's their enemy, apparently. Well, the European Federation is doing like nothing, so it's probably like, can they do something? And well, they decide to annex 2 more puppets. Yeah, they should change themselves to the Central World Union. Well, I guess I could do that, but that'd be weird. And well, being wild mapper is kind of wild, honestly. It's kind of wild that I made the world totalitarian, basically, and left one democracy. And well, maybe we just shouldn't unify the new world. That sounds like a weird idea. Maybe we should unify the old world and the new world, and then give Europe its own place, and give Europe all straight borders, because that's what Europe deserves, I think. Straight borders. And well, they start landing in the southern tip of South America. They expected no resistance, but they're getting a lot more resistance than they expected. And them being held back. Well, it makes sense, honestly. with them slowly advancing forwards, like to here. But this naval invasion becomes multiple, and over here, they start pushing back. So they land in another spot, thinking this will go better. They land in the northern part of here, of South America. Their goal is to take South America over. But they're not accounting for one detail. The European Federation could easily join. And likely, they believe they're strong enough to cause some damage, but likely not to beat them. But what they don't realize is, well, the instability of this nation. If they try to do something, it's likely that there'll be revolts. The power of this country's leader isn't as strong as, say, the power of the Red Team. Totalitarian Russian Empire has more control over its people. This nation has more control over nothing, basically. They think they have more control, but in reality, they don't actually. The Democratic Union not really being able to handle this that well, but they're also mobilizing rapidly. With this front line, they think they've basically won the Battle of South America, but they get pushed back all over this front. And they get cut off in the middle, and they also do this, cutting it into multiple fronts, and they kick them out of here. That's an embarrassing defeat. So they say that never happened. We gained lands, definitely. They said they actually took lands that were occupied by no one, but was still a part of them. Yeah. As they move up from the southern part of South America. Now, here's the thing. It's really hard to control this area. And they get pushed back and they're holding in Patagonia. But with a big defeat happening in Greenland. As they said, no, I did not say Greenland was for sale. Yeah, literally what they say. Allows them to make a significant advance into Chile. And now the front line looks like this as they take a bit more. Some forces arriving here. They stabilize this front, which is needed badly. Well, what did they do now? Well, they decide to start annexing their puppets. They decide the two puppets with the best worth of annexing include Tibet and include there and here, slowly moving forwards. With them planning on annexing this area next. That area, so they're going to annex these three, so they make them into one unified area of control. Well, they start pushing up rapidly in South America until they get put at a stalemate. They don't realize that they better hope this nation doesn't intervene, because they'll give a bonus to them. Well, this nation's denying its internal troubles to its people. Just like it changed the historical maps. See, they're just becoming 1984 versus 1984 versus freedom. Yeah, let's see. What goes better? Well, yeah, this is not looking good. Well, if your situation isn't good, that's not that good. Well, this nation, the nation's benefit here is that they can easily mobilize people with the belief of fighting for freedom. Whereas them, they have a longer front line. That's one of their weaknesses. One of their benefits is they have more control over their country. And this country's benefit is that its weakness is it's between two powers. Its strengths are that it has a lot of resources. Well, that's not a good strength because the rest do have that too. Well, that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, but not until you subscribe. Bye, guys.